10 years before Superman took flight, before Batman cast his shadow over Gotham, another hero was already exploring the stars. He wasn't faster than a speeding bullet. He was a man of his time, suddenly transported to the 25th century. This is the story of Buck Rogers. Buck Rogers debuted in Amazing Stories August 1928 in a novella titled Armageddon 2419 AD by Philip Francis Nolan. Originally, Buck was a World War I veteran named Anthony Rogers, working in a Pennsylvania mine when a freak accident exposed him to radioactive gas. He fell into a suspended animation and wakes up nearly 500 years later in the year 2419. It wasn't science fiction in the superhero sense. This was the early era of pulp futurism, ray guns, airships, and dynamic wars across America. The world Buck wakes up in is fragmented, ruled by warlords and foreign empires. He joins a resistance known as the Organization of Freedom, battling to reclaim what was once the United States. This was a hero born not of superpowers, but of military training, grit, and the refusal to give up. It wasn't long before the character leapt off the printed page. By 1929, Buck Rogers became a newspaper comic strip, the first of its kind to depict space exploration in serialized graphic format. Drawn by Dick Calkins, it introduced millions of Americans to the concepts of jetpacks, rocket ships, video calls, and laser weapons decades before NASA became a reality. It was a massive cultural hit, spawning radio shows, toys, and eventually TV and film serials, helping pave the way for everything from Flash Gordon to Star Wars. Now this is where things get exciting for Golden Age collectors like me. In the early 1950s, Buck Rogers was featured in Famous Funnies, a long-running comic series that often reprinted newspaper strips. But by issue 209, something changed. The cover was illustrated by none other than Frank Frazetta, who was still in his early 20s. His work here is electric, full of dramatic lighting, heroic proportions, and featuring classic good girl art. While best known for his later Conan and fantasy work, Frazetta's take on Buck Rogers captures a raw pulp energy that feels both retro and futuristic. This issue, Famous Funnies 209 from December of 1953, is now a sought-after collector's item, not just for Buck Rogers fans, but for Frazetta collectors and art historians. This copy right here I picked up from Bebop Comics in Overland Park, Kansas. I paid $1,000 for it raw. This is a serious investment, but for me, this isn't just about market value. This is a piece of sci-fi history, a piece of Frazetta history, and honestly, a foundational piece of comic book history. I'm submitting it to CGC, and based on its condition, I'm hoping to get a 4.0 to 4.5, but regardless of the grade, this book has earned its place in my collection. Buck Rogers may not be on the pop culture radar the way that Superman or Batman is today, but without Buck, they may not even exist. He was the prototype, the test flight, the imagination that launched generations of heroes into the stars. And now, nearly a century later, he's found a new home.